Hey guys, welcome to another video of your favorite cloud learning platform, K21Academy, where you learn cloud from the experts. In this video, we will be covering AWS CodeBuild. Now, let's have a look at the agenda of this video. First, we will be covering what is AWS CodeBuild. After that, we will be covering why do we need AWS CodeBuild. To finish it all off, we will be covering how does AWS CodeBuild work. Make sure you stay till the end of the video. We have got a little gift for you. Now let's hear from our expert.
So AWS CodeBuild is one of the fully managed build service in the cloud. What it does is it's going to compile your source code. If you want it, it's going to run a unit test and it is going to produce the artifact that is ready to deploy. So the artifact coming out of a build stage is where that is a code which is having, it can be a packaged format, it can be a packaged, or it can be a deployable code what you want to deploy, and this particular data will be picked up by a code deploy to do the deployment in the upcoming stages. So what are the benefits of code build and what is so different, and what are the benefits we would get from code build? So code build will eliminate to need to provision and manage and scale your own build servers. Very important advantage. The most predominantly used build server or a continuous integration or a CI/CD app software is Jenkins. Now the problem with the Jenkins is that in the Jenkins we will have to manage the provisioning and managing and scaling your build servers, due to which most of the customers will run into issue when there is a huge demand coming and when there is a less demand coming. Cost, performance, there are a lot of issues they face with Jenkins. But here, and also you must have faced this scenario of your jobs going into a queue, your Jenkins is breaking, it is not working, right? You face a lot of you must have faced a lot of scenarios in your experience. Now all that problems what Jenkins has will be eliminated by code build, because the build servers what it gets provisioned based on the demand is managed by AWS. We don't have to worry about upgrading my build server. We don't have to worry about provisioning my build server. We don't have to worry about scaling my build server. It is going to be done completely from the AWS side and on demand. And the other advantage is that you will have to pay only when your build server runs. Unlike your Jenkins, if your Jenkins is running, Jenkins will be having the server running and you will have to pay for that server. But here in the code build, depending on whenever you run the code build and for how long you run the code build, depending on that is where you will be charged. It provides a pre-packaged build environment for most of the programming languages and build tools. This is one of the second advantage, where there are certain pre-packaged build environment. Let's say I want to build Java, there are certain pre-packaged environment. If I want to build Python, Node.js, there are certain pre-packaged environment already there. It might suit your requirement, it might not suit your requirement, wherein you can build upon that. So there are certain inbuilt pre-packaged environments for that, and it is going to scale automatically to meet the peak build request. So most of the problem what happens is when there's a peak request for the building, the Jenkins software gets hang and all the jobs will go to a queue. But that is the major advantage here. It is gonna automatically scale up. The number of build servers provisioned is gonna automatically scale up from the AWS side. It is gonna give you as number of build servers you want, and during the peak build request. As you can see, you only pay only for what you use, right? Whenever you run it, you're gonna pay only for that, and you don't have to pay for a server whenever you are not running it. That's one of the major advantage. These are the various advantages what we get from the code build service. And why use code build? One is that, as we already discussed, it is completely fully managed. AWS code build eliminates the need to set up, patch, update, and manage your own build servers. It is out of the box, provides your pre-configured build environment for the most programming languages, wherein you don't have to do configure your build environment. It is already pre-configured for most of the them. All you need to do is point your build script to start your build, so you don't have to do a further configuration by yourself, which you have to do in Jenkins. So creating a build environment, but here you don't have to create your own build environment for most of the use cases. And AWS code build scales on demand to meet your build needs, so you pay only for the numbers of build minutes you consume. Very important. So in a day, if I'm running my code build just for 10 minutes, I'll be only charged for 10 minutes, versus if I'm using a Jenkins, in Jenkins, even though if I'm running a build for 10 minutes, My Jenkins server is running for 24 hours, so I will have to pay for 24 hours. So that is a very huge difference when you have a medium use case of your building or a CI/CD pipeline, and you are on Jenkins versus you are on the CodeBuild. So you're gonna get a better performance. At the same time, you can do a lot of cost optimization when you use CodeBuild compared to any other CI/CD tools what we have. So basically, you must provide an AWS CodeBuild with a build project where we create a build project for it. It includes the information as where to get the source code, what should be the build environment, what should be the build command, where to store the build output. Right. So you for the code build, first and foremost thing you will have to create, you will have to create a build project, saying that where you have to pick up the code from, what is the environment you will have to create to build that code, and what is the commands to build the code, and where the artifacts has to be stored or where the output has to be stored. You will have to mention all these details in the build project. And AWS CodeBuild usually uses the build project to create a build environment. And AWS CodeBuild downloads the source code into the build environment, and it performs the task you specify in the build spec file. So in the build project, all the details will be there, from where to pick up a code, what kind of build environment has to be created, and what commands needs to be run. Now, once you run a build project, it will create a build environment, and it is going to pick up the code from your source and download it into the build environment. And based on the instructions what we specify in the build spec YAML file, let's say what it has to do, accordingly your build server is going to perform an action on the code. Now, if there is any build output for that, so build environment uploads all the artifacts to S3. Now, as you can see, your code build, it is going to the source is going to have a build project, and you can put all the artifacts to S3, and you can be notified for all the activities happening in the code build. In addition to that, you will have a CloudWatch logs also integrated. Now, in Jenkins file, you will see a console output, right? You guys must be aware of console output, or some of you must be using a Blue Ocean to have a visual representation of each of the steps what is occurring in your build jobs, right? Similarly, we have a CloudWatch logs which will give us a detailed log of each of the steps what is occurring in the build. So when the build is running, the build environment sets the information to CodeBuild and CloudWatch logs. As you can see, while the build is running, you can use a CodeBuild console or a CLI or an SDK to get summarized build information from a CodeBuild and a detailed build information from the CloudWatch logs, because the CloudWatch logs will have all the information of all the steps which is occurring, and if something goes wrong, it'll have all the information that where the problem has occurred. That's how your CodeBuild works. Advantage is that I can use CloudWatch logs, and I can do a notification for each of the steps as well in the CodeBuild as well. Like we do for the code commit, we can use a CodeBuild as well.
We hope that you liked the video. If you are interested in this program, I would highly recommend you to go and attend our free class on AWS Devops for beginners. In this, we will be covering why learn DevOps on AWS Cloud, what is AWS Devops, and who should learn it. Then we will also be looking at a demo on blue-green deployment to app on AWS. Along with that, we will also be discussing what's the ideal way for you to actually approach learning AWS DevOps, and we'll be discussing what are the job opportunities and a lot more. Now, to register for this free class, go at K21Academy.com AWS Devops 02. Once you go there, click on book your free slot now. Select the event date and time. Then enter your name, your email ID, your phone number, and then click on yes, save my seat. Once you click on this button, you will be redirected to this page. That means you have successfully registered for this free class. Now I would see you guys in the free class directly.